Hey everyone, egoists, hoopers, slayers, whatever you are, welcome back. In this video, we will be doing a 2025 review. Look back at what we have done throughout the year, the games we've made, and everything else. First, let us all talk about the game. You guys always spam me about Blue Lock Rivals. Blue Lock Rivals was my first big released game. It was originally me, Tatless, and P-Fresh. We were originally just a small team that didn't have huge success or anything, but Blue Lock Rivals really helped jumpstart our careers in terms of we learned how to make a big game on our own. One of my favorite things about Blue Lock Rivals was going around interacting with the community, creating memes that we all laughed about. The who made these hitboxes.
Who made these hitboxes? You did!
I still remember exactly where I was when that happened, or even when I would scroll on TikTok sometimes, and for a good month or two. All I saw was the Chrollo memes of
My name, get it right. I'm your man. For the night we pop out at 1 in the morning. You really wanna know this kind of life never boring.
Funnily enough, I remember telling Tatless, this game sucks, we need to fix it, about a month before the game came out. So it's kind of funny that our biggest game was kind of a side project that we didn't like much at first until the month before release, where I used my secret Heian era lock-in technique. What is Chrollo's secret technique? Well, I've noticed, and my team has noticed, that basically when we make a new game, I design the idea and get the project started, but then I disappear for whatever reasons. W slacker. But then I come back after a bit because I get super annoyed that I didn't push the game to have more progress, so then I lock in for a good 2 weeks to push the game to peak. Oh, also, I would like to take this second to clear the air, you frauds. I didn't make Nelly Sagi have a OP dash, and Lefty Shot was balanced and not meant to steal. But I will say, Kunigami Body Block and Kaiser's long-range shot, I approved, cause it was hilarious. Another part I'd like to highlight is, I thought it was really cool that I started hiring voice actors for Blue Lock Rivals, and it went so well that when we did the Don Lorenzo update, people actually associated the current voice actor with Don Lorenzo. Would you play Blue Lock Rivals with me?
Give me better hitboxes.
No, but let's work together. Finally, I'd like to just say thank you to BLR as a game, and thank you to the original current team that worked on the game. Me, Tatless, P-Fresh, Geo, Louie, Dome, Jick, etc. We made peak. All right, boys. Now to talk about the first real current game. In terms of this, is when we started publicly calling ourselves current. This started while we were working on Blue Lock Rivals because yes, we did know earlier on that we were gonna leave. We wanted to be on a project that was just current and where we had the freedom to do whatever we want, pretty much. But also, fun fact, we planned out like 4 to 5 of these sports games like 2 years ago, so it was already in our plan anyways. But yes, BBZ was very fun to work on in the beginning. Once again, it was me, Tatless, and P-Fresh and Geo. This was the dream team. We wanted to make a basketball game that didn't feel like all the other basketball games. Every basketball game is just a copy of 2K, and 2K is like 25 years old. So why are we copying a game that is extremely outdated? So, boom! We made BBZ an anime basketball game with unique controls. It was pretty fun. We had some good updates, like the Jackpot update was one of my favorites, or the Perfection update, which, by the way, no one noticed it. But when you use the Awakening, there is literally text that pops up that says, "Your mom is perfection." I think it's super hard to read, but it's hilarious. No one noticed that, and it's been in the game the whole time. But a thing I will admit is you can tell that back then we were super excited to work on the game and add fun stuff. Even the Chrollo versus Tatless update, which was our biggest update, and I would like to say that was the original dev versus dev update. But also, can we talk about how cool it is that people actually like me, and Tatless enough to make that BBZ's most popular update. But BBZ was great and all, but I will admit I did ruin the game. After the Chrollo versus Tatless update, we started chasing hype, and we weren't really excited to work on the game anymore. It basically felt like a chore, but that only happened because of my decisions with the update design. It got really boring. So I would like to apologize to BBZ fans. I did ruin the game. I did make it unbalanced without much regard, but don't worry. BBZ will still get updates from Blackstar, and I believe they will be able to fix some of my mistakes. And also, we are considering making another basketball game, not super soon. And I know Soccer Zero is supposed to be the last sports game, but I feel like since I ruined BBZ, I should at least give basketball fans another fun, unique basketball game to play. So don't worry, I got you guys later. Also, BBZ was the first basketball game to get an IRL player collab. We did a great collab with Luka Doncic and his company for Christmas. So that was really exciting and really shows us the potential that we have and our future games have. So that's super fun. And thank you to Luka and his company 77X for collabing with us. Mugen was a Demon Slayer-inspired game I was involved with earlier this year. I helped guide it as a battleground release to fund a future RPG, but due to creative and internal differences, I ended up leaving after my role was done. So this era is super interesting. I will go over it briefly. Tennis Zero was a tennis game made by Blackstar. They approached me saying they had a finished tennis game and I saw it and I was like, wow, this team made this game on their own and they did it relatively fast. I like this. I see potential in them. So we did the partnership. I gave some tips on how to improve the game a few days before release and then boom, it released. It wasn't a super huge game, but it did have like 10,000 CCU for a while. I wasn't really involved with the update or anything. I was just the initial marketing, plus allowing the game to be branded as a Zero game. So honestly, I have no complaints with Tennis Zero. It allowed Blackstar to gain experience, which allowed them to eventually move over to BBZ. Tennis Zero isn't receiving updates anymore, which is kind of a bummer, because I know some people really like the game, but it just doesn't really make sense for us to work on it. If it's not a game we're particularly passionate about, and it was mostly just a practice game for Blackstar. However, Volleyball Zero is a super interesting situation. I'm not even gonna go super specific into detail, but basically Volleyball Zero was one of the games me and Tatlas planned 2 years ago. However, we were working on Basketball Zero and Blue Lock Rivals, and a couple other games at the same time, so we weren't able to work on the game properly. So this is one of the times where we hired other people to make the game for us because we thought it would be easy and straightforward. Spoiler, boys, it was not easy or straightforward at all. We hired a couple people. The first few people tried their best to make the game, but it just didn't come out the way me and Tatlas envisioned. Or really, it didn't look like what the design said in the documents I made. Volleyball Zero was actually supposed to be pretty similar to Mario Volleyball. This is the video we referenced all the time. Also, it didn't work out with the first few project managers, so we had the game remade in total about 6 or 7 times. And the last time it just got super messy to where there was an internal dispute in the team, to where it was like, okay pal, it was easier to just release the game as it was, but I had to change the name to Untitled Volleyball Game because I didn't want to brand it as a Zero game, because in truth, it wasn't a Zero game. So we just released it, announced it to the server. People ended up being disappointed, unfortunately, but there wasn't much I could do about it because of how messy things got. So to wrap it up, pretty much the year was current-made BBZ and BLR. We made some investments in other games like Tennis Zero, which went well, and we did other collabs which didn't turn out the best, but we learned our lesson and have an even better way to enter 2026. Slap is another fun game we made. It was basically an old demo game. Me and Tatlas made around 1.5 years ago, but we didn't really market it as a big release, and it was mostly Tatlas and Tuff working on it. I just helped make the trailer, which was super cool. And I like that we made a simple game for people to casually play when they're bored, and the memes are so funny. But yeah, Slap was a nice casual game, and good to know that people enjoy simple demo games from us as well. This will be a bit short. I will be honest. I announced Soccer Zero a bit too early. Like we announced it before we were actually working on it. Scam. To be honest, guys, yes, we could speed run the game and have another simple sports game out in like 2 months of dev time, but I really want Soccer Zero to be a game that lasts a long time. I want it to be balanced, and I want it to be fresh. So to be honest, Soccer Zero is taking longer because, 1, we had big plans on how to make it unique. But then we didn't have the team to make the game fast. Like P Fresh, for example, was our GOAT animator. He could make a ton of animations in a day, no problem, but he ended up basically retiring and making his own games, like Hunty Zombies. Congratulations to him. But man, where do we find another P Fresh? This guy is not replaceable. If you know any peak animators, tell them to hit me up. 2, we were updating BBZ at the same time, so it was hard to work on a big project while updating an already big project. This is why we gave it to Blackstar to update, but we still own the game. Soccer Zero. Might release January, might not. But me and Tatlas and Geo have already made an agreement. We're gonna lock in for January work, like 8 to 12 hours a day, and be in VCs and work on all of current, so we can have the banger year. I'm hyping up to you guys right now, so just trust and I will keep you updated. Also, let's quickly mention the channel exploded. The past year, we went from 0 subs to 800,000, which is pretty cool. And also, I know you guys like this new editing style, Chara, the new editor. Been doing his thing, let's hype him up in the comments. But yeah, that's all from me. Boys, remember to join the current server for current updates. And a place for the true current fans, or the Soccer Zero server, if you're looking for Soccer Zero specific updates. Thanks, boys. Peace.